Welcome to the Cala Builders podcast. You know, if you live in Los Angeles, you get it. Space isn't just a commodity, it's a battleground. We fight for parking spots, we jostle for room at Trader Joe's, and in our own homes, we're always trying to figure out where to put, I don't know, the Peloton or the home office. But there is this massive shift happening right now, a quiet revolution really, in backyards from the Valley to Pasadena. It's changing how we look at that patch of grass behind the house.
Really is. We're moving away from this idea that a house is just a static box you sleep in. We're moving toward the idea that your property is a multifunctional asset. It's the ADU revolution accessory dwelling units. And honestly, for homeowners here in Southern California, this is probably the single biggest opportunity to change the financial equation of their lives.
Oh, it's the topic of basically every dinner party I've been to in the last 6 months. Everyone's looking at their backyard, they're doing the math. But the big question, the one we're going to wrestle with today, is the format. It's the real heavy hitter debate. The garage conversion versus the detached ADU. If you are sitting on property in LA, Santa Monica, anywhere in the Valley, and you're trying to figure out which way to go, this is the deep dive for you.
And we aren't just, speculating here. We're basing this whole conversation on data and expertise from Cala Builders. They're our source material for today, and they are a really significant player in this specific market.
Right, and before we jump into the pros and cons, we have to vet the source. I mean, in construction, bad advice is expensive.
Yeah.
I see here Cala is a full-service general contractor based right here in Los Angeles. I even got their license number here, 103-2013.
Always a good first check. The license? And yeah, they serve the whole LA County area. But what really struck me, looking at their About Us info, isn't just where they build, but how they operate. They describe their mission as blending timeless design with modern innovation to enhance long-term value.
Enhancing long-term value. Okay, that's the hook for me. We aren't just talking about a DIY project for a guest room. This is real estate strategy.
Precisely. And to guide you through this, we have a roadmap. We're going to break down this design-build advantage, and I really want to explain why that actually matters for your budget. Then we're going to get into the cold, hard numbers. We have real cost estimates from Cala's guide, and we'll weigh all the pros and cons.
Converting that dusty garage versus building a brand new structure from scratch. And finally, we'll put them head to head, a best use showdown to help you decide. But let's go back to that term you used, design build. You see it everywhere, on trucks and lawn signs all over LA. Is that just marketing fluff? Or is there a real functional difference for a homeowner?
It is definitely not fluff. It's a structural difference in how the project runs. Think about the traditional nightmare scenario. You know the one. You hire an architect, you pay them, what, 10, 15 grand for these beautiful plans. You fall in love with the drawings. Then you take those plans to a separate contractor, and he looks at them and just laughs.
Right. He says, I can't build this, or if I do, it'll cost double your budget.
Exactly. And then the blame game starts. The architect blames the builder blames the architect, and you, the homeowner, you're just stuck in the middle writing checks to redesign everything.
I'm stressing out just hearing that. So how does Cala's design build model fix that problem?
Well, they bring the architectural planning, the design, permitting, the actual construction. It's all under one roof. It creates a single point of accountability. According to their profile, this streamlines communication, but the big thing is budget control. Because the person designing the ADU is on the same team as the person building it.
So they know what materials actually cost right now.
They design to your budget from day one.
So it's one phone call, one team. That makes sense. And looking at their scope of work, they aren't just doing backyard sheds. I mean, they do new home construction, hillside construction, which if you live in the hills, you know that is a logistical beast, luxury remodeling, even commercial tenant improvements.
Yeah, that restaurant construction piece is a great indicator of skill. Commercial kitchens are incredibly complex. You have code compliance, plumbing, huge electrical loads. If they can handle that, a residential ADU is well within their wheelhouse.
It speaks to a certain technical competency. I also noticed in their team breakdown, they list specific specialists. It's not just a project manager. They have a roofing specialist, John Smith, a safety inspector, Alex Brown, a dedicated quality control person, Michael Taylor.
That detail is crucial. And a lot of those, truck-in-a-truck operations, the guy driving the truck is also the safety inspector.
And the quality control guy.
Exactly. Seeing these roles separated tells me Cala runs a structured professional operation. So as we go through these options, keep in mind we are talking about high-end, custom living spaces.
Okay, let's get into the ring. In the blue corner, we have the entry-level contender, the garage conversion.
The low-hanging fruit of the real estate world.
Let's define it clearly first. What actually counts as a conversion in the eyes of the city?
Simply put, it's transforming an existing enclosed structure, usually a garage, into a legal, habitable living space. The key thing is you are using the existing footprint. You're not pouring a new foundation or framing a new shell. The box is already there.
And because the box is there, I have to assume this is the budget-friendly option.
It is. That is the massive pro. According to the data from Cala builders, the estimated cost range for a garage conversion sits between $90,000 and about $150,000.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here. $90,000 to $150,000. I think some listeners might hear that and think, wait a minute, I already have walls and a roof. Why is it costing me over $100,000 to put in some drywall and a toilet?
That is the most common misconception. You have a garage, yes. But a garage is built to shelter a car, not a person. The concrete slab is often uninsulated, it's cracked, it's not level, the walls have zero insulation, there's no plumbing. To make it legal and comfortable, Cala has to basically build a room inside that box.
So they're not just painting the walls.
Far from it. They have to trench sewer lines, connect to the main house. They have to upgrade your electrical panel to handle the new load. They have to waterproof the floor, insulate everything to meet Title 24 energy standards.
Title 24, that's the California Energy Code, right?
Correct. And it dictates efficiency standards for windows, insulation, lighting. Making a 1950s garage Title 24 compliant is major construction work, not a weekend DIY thing.
That definitely puts the price in perspective, but even at $150,000 in LA real estate where a starter home is $1 million, that's a bargain for a rental unit.
Absolutely. It's the fastest and most affordable path to an ROI.
And speed is the other big pro, right?
Because the structure exists, the construction timeline is significantly shorter. You don't have to wait for framing inspections in the same way.
What about permitting? We all know building and safety can be. Let's call it thorough.
Well, garage conversions often have a smoother ride. They fall under specific conversion ADU rules. Since you aren't changing the massing of the building, not making it bigger or taller, the city is generally more lenient.
So cheaper to build, faster to finish, easier to permit. Sounds like a slam dunk. Why isn't everyone doing this?
Because there are trade-offs, serious ones. The first is space. You are a prisoner to the dimensions of your garage. A standard two-car is about 400 square feet. That's a decent studio, but it's a tight one-bedroom.
You can't just push a wall out.
Nope, you get what you get.
And the big one, where do I park?
That's the deal breaker for many. You lose your indoor protected parking. If you're in the valley with a huge driveway, maybe that's fine. But if you live in, say, Mid-City or Santa Monica, where street parking is a combat sport, losing that garage is a massive lifestyle hit.
That's the Sunday night reality check. Is the rent worth circling the block for 20 minutes every night?
And then there's privacy. Huge factor. If your garage is attached to your kitchen, or it's 5 feet from your back door, you're going to be living in very close quarters with your tenant.
You might hear their TV. They might smell your cooking.
Yeah. If it's for your college kid or a home office, that's a feature. If it's a stranger, it might be a bug.
So the verdict on the garage conversion.
It's the pragmatic choice. Best for a home office, a studio, or generating rental income with the lowest possible upfront investment. If you want cash flow fast, this is the play.
Okay, so that's the lightweight contender. Now let's look at the heavyweight, deep dive part 2, the detached ADU, the big sibling.
This is the full-on ground-up construction project. A detached ADU is a freestanding structure in your backyard or side yard. It is entirely independent.
A mini house.
Exactly. And because you're starting from scratch, the flexibility is the biggest pro.
Yeah.
You aren't stuck with a 20 by 20 box. You can design a layout that actually flows. You can create a real one-bedroom, even a two-bedroom, if your lot allows.
And I assume this solves the privacy issue we just talked about.
Completely. You can stick the unit at the back of the property, plant a hedge, put up a fence, essentially create two separate properties on one lot.
That separation has to translate to value.
It does. A detached ADU generally adds significantly more to the appraisal value than a garage conversion. It feels like a luxury amenity, a guest house or a casita, not a converted garage. Tenants will pay a premium for that.
But luxury comes with a price tag. I'm looking at the numbers from Cala here, and they are a step up.
They are. For a custom detached ADU, Cala estimates costs from about $180,000 up to $350,000 or even more.
$350,000, that is a serious number. Why is the cost disparity so high compared to the garage?
Because you are paying for everything. A brand new foundation. And in LA, that can be expensive.
Yeah.
You need to frame the entire structure, roof it, side it. You need to run brand new utility trenches from the street. Water, sewer, gas, heavy-duty electric. It's a complex engineering feat.
And complexity is just a polite word for takes longer, I imagine.
Much longer. You have site prep, grading, foundation curing, and the permitting is more rigorous. You have to deal with things like setbacks.
Okay, explain that. What's a setback?
A setback is the mandatory distance a building has to be from your property line. The city doesn't want you building right up to your neighbor's fence. So typically in LA, you need to be 4 feet away from the rear and sidelines.
And that eats into your buildable space.
Right, and it requires very precise planning. If you get it wrong by 6 inches, an inspector can make you tear it down.
That sounds incredibly stressful. But assuming you have the budget and the patience, who is this option for?
This is for the long game investor. It's perfect for multi-generational living, bringing aging parents onto the property, but giving them their own private home. Or, if you want to attract high-quality, long-term tenants who treat the place like it's their own home because, well, it is a home.
So we have the two contenders, the scrappy, affordable garage conversion versus the premium, high-value detached ADU. How do you actually make the call?
It's tough. But Cala provides this really useful best uses framework. I think we can turn this into a bit of a conversational checklist for you.
I love a checklist. Let's run through some scenarios. Scenario A, I'm a homeowner. Maybe things are a bit tight. I need to maximize my short-term return on investment. I need cash flow now.
Winner. Garage conversion, hands down. The lower upfront cost means you break even and start making a profit years sooner. It's a pure numbers play.
Okay, scenario B. Not worried about cash flow today. I'm looking at my net worth. I want to maximize property value for when I sell this place in 10 years.
Winner. Detached ADU. It adds legal square footage that's appraised at a higher value. It adds a wow factor to the listing. A buyer sees guest house and sees dollar signs.
Scenario C. The granny flat situation. Mom and dad are moving in. We want them close, but we love them enough to want them to have their own space.
Winner. Detached ADU. Privacy is the currency here.
Oh.
You don't want to hear them watching the news at 6 a.m. through a shared wall. And you can design it for accessibility, wider doors, no steps, which is harder to force into an existing garage.
Scenario D, the remote worker. I'm on Zoom all day. I need a background that isn't my bedroom, and I need to escape the chaos of the main house.
Winner. Garage conversion. It's the perfect home office. It's separate enough to focus. Your commute is 20 feet, but it's close enough to run in for a coffee. And it's a much cheaper way to get a dedicated office. But, we can sit here and choose our favorite option, but there's a hidden factor that might just make the choice for you.
What's that?
The dirt itself.
Zoning.
Yeah.
We mentioned setbacks, but there are also things called easements.
Easements. That sounds like legal trouble. It can be. An easement is basically a right for someone else to use a part of your land. So you might have this huge backyard and think, great, I'll put a detached ADU right there. But if there's a power easement running overhead or a sewer main running underground through that spot, you generally cannot build on top of it.
Right. Or your lot is shaped weirdly, and you can't meet the 4-foot setback without making the house 4 feet wide.
Exactly. And this brings us back to why the team matters, why you need a group like Cala Builders.
Right.
Because they operate in the Valley, in Pasadena, in Santa Monica. They know the specific quirks of each zoning board.
They can look at your property and say, hey, I know you want a detached unit, but legally it won't fit, but we can do an incredible conversion.
Or vice versa. They can do that feasibility study. They look at the hidden constraints, so you don't spend money on a design you can't even build. They navigate the red tape.
So if we zoom out, what's the takeaway here?
It just goes down to priorities. Are you prioritizing speed and affordability? Then look at your garage. Are you prioritizing versatility, privacy, and long-term asset growth? Look at your backyard.
There's no single wrong answer.
Not at all, provided you have the right team to execute it. And that's the reassuring part. Regardless of which path you take, you are increasing your livable space. You are making your home adaptable.
In a city like Los Angeles, space is the ultimate luxury.
And whether that space comes from a converted garage or a new build, you're winning. You're solving a problem.
So if you're listening to this and looking out your back window thinking, what if? It's probably time to stop guessing and start planning.
That's the call to action. Don't just wonder about it. Get the feasibility done.
And Cala Builders seems like a solid place to start that conversation. They offer honest guidance, which, let's be real, is rare and detailed proposals. You can actually go visit them. They have offices on West Pico BVD and on Burbank BVD in Woodland Hills.
Or just give them a call. The number is 213-855-7557. Or check them out online. Their promise is, your satisfaction is our priority, And they aim for 24-hour response times.
Which, again, in construction, that's unheard of. You're usually waiting a week for a voicemail. That number, again, is 213-855-7557. Get the experts involved early.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. We used to think of the American dream home as this static thing. You bought it, you lived in it, maybe painted the walls, and then you sold it. But with the rise of ADUs, we're seeing the evolution of the home into a dynamic campus.
A campus, I like that image.
It really is. Your property can now be a home, an office, a retirement plan for your parents, and source of rental income all at the same time. So if your backyard could pay your mortgage or house your loved ones, why is it still just growing grass?
That is a fantastic question to end on. Why is it just growing grass? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of ADUs with Cala Builders. We'll see you next time.